Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Lady Whistleblower Show, with me, your host, Dr. Jermaine Gordon, on OBC Radio and OBC Radio YouTube channel, where we fearlessly uncover the truth and shed light on important issues. Today, we are thrilled to have you join us as we delve into the latest update from our beloved island of Jamaica. Before we do so, we kindly request that you like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Turn your notification so you won't miss when we are on. Last but not least, follow us on all social media platforms at OBC Radio and visit us on the World Wide Web at www.obcradio.com. Always remember, a winner never quit because quitters never win. As we stated, it's a pleasure to have you here. Last week, we had a thought-provoking discussion with Miss Nadine Evans, hailing from St. Catherine, Jamaica. Miss Evans raised a deeply concerned issues, shedding light on the unsettling truth about the missing persons in our communities. She spoke passionately about the alarming reality of organ harvesting, an heinous practice where individuals are exploiting our children for blood sacrifice and selling their organs to the highest bidders, all for their own enrichment. Ms. Evans mentioned some prominent names in connection to these activities and boldly welcome any potential legal challenges to her claims. We acknowledge that the audio quality of our previous broadcast was subpar, and we appreciate your patience. We value your feedback and are committed to delivering the best possible content to you. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel as we continue to strive to bring you compelling and insightful discussions. Thank you for being a part of our community. I look up information on organ harvesting in Jamaica, and I found a few articles on the topic. According to the news article from the Jamaican Observer, there is no evidence of organ harvesting in Jamaica. However, there has been reports of organ harvesting in the past, as described in a 2017 article from Guest List. The article described how Jamaican girls and women are being murdered in order to have their organs harvested and sold to wealthy countries. The information has been broadcast via social media with a surge of YouTube videos from Jamaica natives. The most popular being a whistleblower from the media industry. He popularly discussed how the act of harvesting has grown due to the poor and desperate condition that most Jamaicans live in. He goes on to say that organ harvesting is more popular among young girls as they are more vulnerable. Their organs have a higher value and their incidents are easier to make look like abduction or rape cases. We join Miss Evans. Good afternoon, Miss Evans. I Yes, I'm hearing you, and I'm hoping media world can also hear you. Um, First, I want to say send our condolence from OBC Radio and on behalf of myself to you and your family on your two your two children being taken away from you. First and foremost, could you introduce yourself to the audience, Miss Evans? Miss Evans? Yeah, could you go ahead and introduce yourself to the audience? You're a 52-year-old woman of six from St. Catherine. 50, 56. Huh? Can't hear her? Well, okay, I'm hearing you, but the audience are not hearing you. Let me try. Hold on. Calling you on just a sec, Miss Evans. Stay right there. Um, for some reason, Miss Evans didn't go where she was last week because she think her data was gonna be sufficient enough. We'll try it this way.
Hello,
Yes, good afternoon, Miss Evans.
good afternoon.
Okay, I believe we have to do it this way, and I believe your voice has
Okay,
been up now. Could you go ahead and
okay.
introduce yourself?
My name is Nadine Evans. I'm a 56-year-old from St. Catherine. I'm the well,
You're going in
yeah.
you're going in and out just now, Miss Evans.
and the mother of Carol White and Cheyenne Taylor, who were murdered in the hospital for their organs.
Cheyenne White and
Carol White and Cheyenne Taylor.
Carl White and Cheyenne Taylor.
Yeah, two girls who were murdered in the hospitals for their organs.
Could you go ahead and explain to us how your daughters were murdered? What had transpired?
They fabricated adedamola, having we believing that my daughters had lupus when they had no lupus. Because no lupus, every lupus test they take is negative. But they fabricated the test because we don't understand test result and whatever. That's how they do it.
What was the reason for your daughter to visit the hospital?
My daughter had a baby. Carol White had a baby. And when she had a baby, a few weeks after, days after she was discharged, she went in back to the hospital with a fever. And they claimed that they are testing her for this, testing her, and they can't find out what causes the fever. So I told them that I would bring a doctor in there to see her, because if they can't find out, because now she's in the hospital. When she had the baby, she was there for a few days. Now she's in there for almost a month. With this fever, nobody can know what causes the fever. So I said, I'm going to take a specialist in there to see her. They said they have specialists, and it's not forbid for me to take someone in there, so they will have their specialist take a look at her. When the specialist looked at her, he said, they are treating this woman for what she don't have. And he discharged her and sent her home. She went to see a private doctor, the same private doctor that I got to see her in the hospital. She went and she saw him. Then I think he gave her some medication, and when he gave her the medication, he claimed that her pressure is high. Then after he gave her the medication, she started to have swollen feet. Then when she went back to him, he told her that her kidney is failing, and he's going to send her to University Hospital for treatment. She went to University Hospital.
Who was the name of this doctor?
That was Dr. Fairhaven Medical Center.
Dr. who?
Dr. Gibbs.
Gibbs? Dr. Gibbs?
Dr. Gibbs.
Gibbs. At which
Gibbs.
medical center?
Yes. Fairhaven Medical Center.
At Fairhaven Medical Center.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And he sent her to University Hospital. Say she have to go get treatment for the kidneys. When she went to University Hospital, they admitted her. 3 days after, the woman that walked into the hospital, she could bathe her baby, she could go about her chores. But 3 days after she walked into the hospital, she cannot move from where she is. So I started to figure something was wrong. But the doctors told me she had renal failure. After being in the hospital for a while, one morning I was called to the hospital by my daughter, stating that she's in pain. I must come to the hospital. No, she's in pain. Hello?
How old? I'm here. How old was your daughter?
Hello?
How old was your daughter?
Hello?
Yes, Miss Evans?
Yes?
How old was your daughter?
Can you hear me?
I'm hearing you. Can you hear me?
31.
31. And you made mention that she had a child. How old was the child?
My daughter was 31.
Yes, she was 31, but your daughter had a baby. How old was the baby?
Yes. The baby was 4 months old when she went in the hospital.
4 months old when she went in the hospital. And 4 months prior,
Yes.
4 months prior to when she went in the hospital, I know that doctor do tests when a woman is pregnant, during her pregnancy, and so forth. There was no result from the test during her pregnancy that she had lupus or any kidney problem.
Yes, no kidney problem. Her kidney was fine during pregnancy, but during pregnancy they claimed that she had lupus.
During pregnancy,
so they have to.
During pregnancy, they claimed that
she had lupus, so they have to do a C-section.
Okay. So she did do a C-section
for her to be able to have the baby. They said she won't be able to have the baby normally because she had lupus. So she have to do a C-section. Come here.
Did she have the C-section?
Yes, she had the C-section.
Okay. So 4 months after, she ended up in the hospital. And you say while she's in the hospital, she called you one morning. Continue.
So I told her that she was in pain. She's in pain. And I went early in the morning. When she collapsed into my hand.
This was how long after she...
I rushed to her assistant. She was admitted on the 21st of November. And this was on the 12th of December.
Okay. And you say continue.
15th or somewhere. Either the 12th or the 15th. But yeah, somewhere along the line there, she called me and she told me that after everything was over, she could barely talk. But she told me that the doctors had taken out her kidneys. And put in other kidneys. I said, how did you know that they did? Because I thought she was hallucinating. And she said to me that when they knock her out with the drugs, she could feel what they were doing and she could hear what they were saying.
And did she express anything that they were saying?
Yes, like the kidneys are smaller than hers, or her kidneys are smaller, something like that.
They were discussing which kidney. So they had replaced her kidney.
Yes.
Did you sign off to them replacing her kidney?
No, nobody signed off. They said the kidneys were not good. And she wasn't in there for any surgery or anything, so nobody signed.
So your daughter let you know that they replaced her kidney?
Yes, they took out her kidney.
Explain, take us back, Miss Evans, to that moment when you were in the hospital and your daughter relayed this information to you. I want you to go back, and I know we're asking you to recreate a lot, and we know this is hard for you, but I know also that you want your voice to be heard, and we want the listeners across the board to hear your story. So could
When
you...
the doctor came from behind the curtain and he told us that they got her back, they pushed the stretcher up the corridor up to a room where they said they have to give her dialysis. And we were allowed in the room that day for her to get the dialysis. And I was there with her. And they put her on some machine. All I remember about that machine was that I could see blood through a tube. That's the only thing I can remember about that machine. And when they after they finished giving it to her, I can remember she turned a kind of blue color looking like purple. I'm not sure. That's the color her skin turned. When I asked them what was happening, they said it's because she get the dialysis. Why that happened? And I must run to the pharmacy and buy some pumps or something like that and give her. And she was there. Every part of her turned purple.
So the body was rejecting the kidney that they had replaced without your consent.
I don't know, but I know she turned purple at the day.
So this was after the surgery?
I don't know because I don't. Yes, after she told us that it took the same day when she told us that the kidneys was me and my daughter.
Okay, hold on, Miss Evans.
But she only got a little.
Hold on, Miss Evans. What I want you to do is walk us through the point when you enter the hospital to visit your daughter that morning, and the word for word as you remember what was said. Walk us through that so we want to be there with you in that moment.
I can remember when I walked in the morning and when I went up to her, she was crying and she collapsed. As I hold her, she collapsed. And when she collapsed and I screamed out, I saw a lot of doctors running to her, and they pushed me out from behind the curtain and they were there. And one of them came out a few minutes after and told me that they got her back. And then I saw them rushing her up the corridor to the dialysis center around the corner. And I followed them, and that was the first time I was allowed in the dialysis.
So at what time did she express to you that they changed her kidney?
When after she turned purple, and I went to get the thumbs and came back. That time she could barely talk. That's when she told me.
What was your response to her?
I thought she was hallucinating. I didn't say anything. It was after she died. And they asked me to sign for the autopsy. And I said if they took the kidneys, they have cut her somehow to get it. So I'm not signing for something they already did. And so they held on to her body for 7 months. I have to take them to court.
So you didn't want to sign because
of what she said to me.
And you thought she was hallucinating because you know they couldn't operate and take her kidney without your consent.
Yes.
But she's saying to you that she know that they take her kidney and gave
In the
her.
morning, they were telling me, they told me that her kidneys are not good, they failed.
Did the doctor also admitted that they gave her other kidneys?
No, no, the doctor don't admit to anything.
Listeners, as you hear the weeping of a mother,
The doctor told me she had renal failure, so when she told me that they took it, I didn't know what to think. I don't have medical knowledge, and I know nothing more than whatever they told me.
so continue to walk us through what happened, Miss Evans. You said she fainted in your arm.
Yeah.
Yes, continue. From there, what happened as you remember vividly?
After she fainted, I screamed out, I yelled out, and another doctor run come down there. And they I don't know what they did there, the curtain, but one of them came out and told me that they got her back. You weren't hearing that? And then they rushed her up to the dialysis center, and we were allowed to go in with her, me and my other doctor.
Our hearts and prayers goes out to you, Miss Evans.
Okay.
And this is listeners understand that this interview is a very heartwarming and touching interview, but as a journalist I have to get the answers, the questions has to be asked, and we have to get the answers out for the public so we all can rally behind Miss Evans as much as possible. So I would appreciate no one looking at me as, oh, I'm heartless, give her a break, why let her going back through this? She wants her voice be heard. This is not it was not one, but two of her kids who suffer from this, and she is here to give her insight.
I sent you the lupus test today for my daughter. So you can see she has no lupus. All of them. I also sent you the ultrasound of the kidney.
Yeah. What's not allowing me? I should have downloaded them.
Okay.
But what I tried to do was shared it just now, and WhatsApp realized what I'm doing, and it's telling me that it's encrypted to share, so it's not allowing me to download it. But we'll get them out and put it out. For anyone wants to see them, and we will also I can let you know that I've already looked over these documents and verify the information given. The doctor did state, from what I'm seeing here, the result that there was no lupus from a daughter. So we wanted to continue, Miss Evans, when that morning or that day, whatever it is, when they took her behind the curtain. Was that the last time you saw?
They ran me from behind the curtain.
Oh, they run you from
and
behind
then,
the curtain.
Yes, and then a doctor came out and told me that they got her back because she passed out. They got her back and then they strolled her up to the dialysis center.
Mm-hmm.
And when they put her on the machine and they started doing the procedure, I'm not sure what it was because I was kind of crying and stuff like that. So that was when her skin and middle foot bottom everywhere changed color.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they bring her back on the ward now and she was there talking to us, and by the time we went home, and then I was up the night, I was cold, but they told me that she died. So the following morning, I went to the ward to collect the certificate or whatever. They told me that they are not sure of what killed her, so I have to sign for them to do a postmortem. And I said, no, I'm not signing because my daughter told me what you did to her. And so they wouldn't give me the body. They gave me the letter on January, that was the 19th, the 17th.
What was his response?
The 19th. If their physicians are not sure, I gave you a letter, I sent you a letter that they gave me. And the physicians are not sure of what killed her, so they have to do a postmortem within 8 days or something like that, because within 3 days, because after 3 days, it's unlikely to find any significant findings from a postmortem. That's what the letter stated. And I still refuse to sign because I knew that was a trick. And so in January, I have to get myself a lawyer. And I never get the body until 7 months after.
Why it took so long for you to get the body?
I don't know. One lawyer had the case from January to May, still writing letters to them, back and forth. You see, write letter, they write letter. I told them that I'm not looking at relationship and this is not a love story. So I walked out and I signed myself another lawyer. Immediately they filed something in an affidavit in the court, so I was able to get the hearing. 1 month after I got the hearing, case was tried, but the judge said he needed 2 days to rule, and he did not rule until 2 months after. And he ruled in my favor.
He ruled in your favor, stating
that the university hospital has no legal right to my child's body, and they should release the body immediately. Oh Lord! But when the judge said he needed 2 days to rule, that was June 19th. So I asked one of my lawyers that was on the case submit to the coroners, and he did. So the coroners granted an order before the 28th of August when the judge ruled. So an order was granted on July 10th, And I got the body on July 26th after the autopsy was done. I don't know why it took so long. I'm not sure.
Hold a second, Miss Evans, while we allow you to grieve the loss of your kids. We ask you to, this is a very important matter. We ask you, the viewers who are here, to share the live broadcast. It's important to get Miss Evans' voice out here. I'm asking for your assistance in sharing the broadcast. I've never share it as normally I would have done, because we were preparing ourselves and have other stuff that was taken care of. So I'm asking you kindly to share the broadcast. Continue, Miss Evans, from where you left off. The judge granted you the body.
The coroner's granted the order to release the body for a postmortem. He also gave me a privilege for independent observer. I was introduced to Dr. Ford.
You were introduced to Dr. Ford by whom?
A friend. By a friend. And so I paid Dr. Ford to be my independent observer.
And did Dr. Ford did the autopsy?
He was just the independent observer. Dr. Natasha Richards from the government forensic lab, she did the autopsy.
And what was her finding?
Her finding was that she died from lupus and glomerulonephritis.
And
she died from internal bleeding.
Dr. Ford said she died from internal bleeding.
Internal bleeding, yes. They put in the stent wrong.
And this is Dr. Jeff Ford or Japheth Ford?
Jeffton Ford.
Jeffton Ford.
Yes.
And this is the one from the tire shop up on Arthur Road?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, I want to let you know, listeners, about Dr. Ford.
Go ahead.
Dr. Jeffrey Ford. Take your time and breathe, Miss Evans. Gather yourself. Dr. Jeffrey Ford, I have met when I was a young adolescent. And I was introduced to Dr. Ford by former producer, Ruth Samuels. And he gave me a position in his office. He had this work agency, and he gave me a position there. But Dr. Ford wanted me to do a drastic physical and medical test, which didn't make any sense. But long story short, we falled out because he didn't want to pay me, because I didn't want, somebody had warned me about Dr. Ford when at the doctor, he had referred me to go to do the medical test. When the person went to drop me off, they realized it was his brother, his twin brother. And they warned me upon going and scared me into going, so I didn't go. So because of me not going now, I didn't get my 2 weeks pay, and it could turn 2 weeks pay turn into 3 weeks, and I wasn't gonna get pay until I do the medical. But I was there working, so I'm like, I end up talk to him, and I went and did the medical. Asked a lot of questions and stuff, but I don't know if how boisterous I was. Um, who knows what would have happened? And I didn't. And even after the medical, I didn't get any pay. So I decided to go public on Dr. Ford. Start writing up, giving information that I found out to the media outlet, the Gleaner, the Observer, X News, a Contact TVJ, CVM, and no one would do the story on Dr. Ford. That's how powerful he was and how scared people was of Dr. Ford. Dr. Ford is the only PNP politician that never win his seat in his constituency. And he would go and build bathrooms and build up kitchenette place and repair the kitchen for the people so they could get their vote. And when he lose, he go back and tear it down. And nothing came out of it. He was untouchable. And I remember spoken to my mentor, Winston Babatunda Witter, God rest his soul. And he informed me of the power of Dr. Ford. So I don't know who, I say that to say this. I don't know who referred you to Dr. Ford, but I know he's one of the evilest doctor that ever walked the face in Jamaica that I know of, and many know of. Nothing good comes from Dr. Ford.
The lady who introduced me, I'm sure she didn't know who he was. She didn't know what he was capable of, neither did I.
So, during the fight for her body, you were introduced to Dr. Ford.
Yes. No, to do the medical observation.
The medical observation on the autopsy on your first daughter.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. And he stated that she died from internal bleeding.
Yes.
Continue from what? Yeah, continue that.
So I made several trips to him for the autopsy report till he finally told me that he sent it to Jamaicans for Justice. And Jamaicans for Justice said the board did not send any report to them. So for a while, he and I had a disagreement about that. However, when my daughter, she had Taylor foot braces in her mouth, she went to see him. And he gave her medication for the allergic reaction that she had of the
But
braces.
wait, before we go into your second daughter, explain what happened with Dr. Ford and your first daughter up until when you able to get the body from the hospital and you had a funeral?
There were nothing much happen with Dr. Ford on my first daughter, because when we took the medical records to him, he asked us who told us that my daughter had lupus. I said the doctors. And he said, no, your daughter have no lupus. And then he started to curse and say what he's going to do with them and how he's going to expose them and how he's going to a lot of things. So he got us to trust him and believe that he was on our side. He wasn't, because the medication he gave Sharon, she landed in KPH. When she went to KPH, they tortured her. And they told me that
you're talking now about your second daughter.
Yes.
Okay, hold on. Okay, hold on. So your first daughter passed, and Dr. Ford, let you gain you gain his trust. You gain Dr. Ford trust based on what he was telling you from your first daughter. You're gonna expose them, and he stated that he has sent something to Jamaica for justice. You contacted Jamaica for justice. However, Jamaica for Justice said Dr. Ford had not sent anything over to them.
Yes.
So you buried your first daughter.
Yes.
And how many months had passed after you buried your first daughter? Did you try to take any other legal action?
Yes, I did.
This is with your first daughter?
Yes.
What had explained that to us?
The legal action, I went to an attorney after Jamaica for justice, because when I got the autopsy report, it wasn't adding up. So I sent the medical report and test result, everything to the Medical Council of Jamaica. Professor Spencer then sent the medical file to the University Hospital along with a letter. So I took that letter to my attorney, because the letter could give us an inquest in the coroner's court based on what was written in that letter and the test results. Seeing that she doesn't have lupus, and see that when they diagnosed her with renal failure, there was ultrasound that said that her kidneys were fine. So when I went to coroner's court, the lawyer did submit what was it? A letter of application to the coroners, where Dr. Ford and the forensic Richard, who was supposed to. When we went to coroner's court, nothing happened. Dr. Ford wasn't appealing. The police and the coroner is going to turn down the inquest. And he did turn down the inquest, so an inquest was not granted.
What was the inquest for?
The inquest was to find the cause of death.
And the judge didn't grant it?
charges to be granted.
The who?
Judge Pennycook, special coroner's Judge Pennycook. He didn't grant the order. My lawyer got up in the courtroom and he said to the judge that I understand if you should grant an inquest. I can remember those exact words.
Wait, repeat, you went in and out just now. Miss Evans? I hope we didn't lost her just now. Miss Evans? Miss Evans? Okay, Miss Evans? I don't know if I should hang up and call back. She's still showing that she's online, but it was showing reconnecting just now. Let me hang up and try calling back. Miss Evans? Well, this is very hard one, a very tough one. But it just goes to show what citizens of Jamaica face. And what about those who don't have the courage to come forward and speak out? It's just calling, but it's not saying ringing, so I know the call is not going through. Let me just try her other number. Okay, she's calling. Oops. Okay. Yes.
Hello?
Yes. We lost you just now.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, as I said.
You were stating when you were in the court and your attorney asked you, say you remember the exact word. What was it? That's when you got break. You start break up.
He got up and he said to the coroner, I can understand if you should grant an inquest, it would go against section 14 of your act. But, and as he said, but I got up in the courtroom and I told him to sit down and shut up and allow me to speak.
Okay, hold on, wait. So we have missed something else. What has caused that issue? What the judge had said?
The judge did not say anything. The lawyer got up and said to the judge that if he grants an inquest, it will go against section 14 of his act. And I knew section 14 of the coroner's act, so I told him to sit down and shut up.
And what section 14 of the coroner's act?
Section 14 says if he or she come to his or her death by murder or manslaughter, or if further light can be thrown upon the case by opening an inquest, he should not desist from doing so. And I know further light can be thrown upon the case because my daughter has no lupus or glomerulonephritis that they say she died from. So an inquest would show the cause of death. And he denied me the inquest.
And what's the name of this judge?
Shut up.
Penny Cook.
Judge Penny Cook. And I told my lawyer, Mr. John Clark, to sit down and shut up. Then the judge, he opened his mouth to say something, but I didn't hear what he said because I also told him to shut up. I told him because I wanted him to hold me in contempt. I told him, I have proof of what I told him.
So why, explain to us, hold on, Miss Evans, explain to us why you told your attorney to shut up. Did he said something that...
He was saying something foolish. Section 14 of the Corners Act says if he or she comes to his or her death by murder or manslaughter, or if further light can be thrown upon the case, he should grant the inquest. And he was saying that he would go against Section 14 if he grants an inquest. That was stupidity.
Okay, so he wasn't in your best interest.
I told him to sit down and shut up.
Understand. And what took place?
And then I told the judge to shut up as well. I told him that he's placed there to speak for the dead, so he can protect the living. And my daughter did not have lupus. And if lupus didn't damage those kidneys, that means they were fine. So I think an inquest could be granted. And he still denied me the inquest. And he said the reason why he's not going to hold me in contempt is because he felt sorry for me. And he can feel my pain. And I told him he had no feelings. And he denied the inquest.
Our heart goes out with you. And we commend you on your courage. So while what happened after you told the judge that?
After I told him that, he said he would not hold me in contempt because
he was sorry for you.
He's sorry for me and he my pain. And I told him he had no feelings, so he can't feel my pain.
What transpired then?
And then he would pause for a while and then the clock started to speak and then he said he won't be granting any inquest.
So
and after I was called to Jamaica for justice on the Friday for a letter of termination.
So the case after the inquest wasn't granted. You and your attorney, did you have any conversation with your attorney then?
After the inquest was denied,
yes.
He called me the Friday. I think that was a Wednesday. And he called me the Friday to pick up a letter of termination and he terminated the case.
So he didn't spoke to you at court after the inquest wasn't granted? There was no words exchanged?
No.
So this is a paid attorney. This was a paid attorney?
Yes.
And you are in grief and in the courtroom, and you told your attorney to shut up and let you spoke. You also told the judge to shut up. However, the judge expressed sympathy. Are you saying after walking out of the courtroom, your attorney and you had no words?
No.
And this is an attorney that you paid? What's the name of this attorney?
When I took him to legal counsel, he told him that my agreement was not with him, it was with JFK. He was the attorney there. So my agreement was with him. And
he was an attorney from Jamaica for Justice.
Yes, he was the attorney there. And he told the legal counsel that my agreement was with JFK, not with him.
What's the name of this attorney?
John Clark. One a big practice of his own now, downtown. Not long after my case.
He opened a huge office downtown after your case.
Yes.
So they had sent you a letter of termination.
Yes.
What was the response from Jamaican for Justice?
For the letter of termination?
Yes.
That I told him to sit down and shut up. And I threatened to hit out the windows at Jamaicans for Justice. That was yes.
So Jamaica for Justice had done nothing?
No. You're only a name. You're only a name.
So explain to me, when the letter of termination was sent from the Jamaica for Justice, you went and picked that letter up, or it was sent to you?
I went to pick it up.
What was the conversation and who you spoke to?
I think the secretary brought the letter to me.
Mm-hmm. And go back to that day when you walk into Jamaica for Justice, wherever they are located, and to pick up that letter. Explain to us, take us back to what transpired, word for word as you remember.
The executive director, for months, even before Corner's Court, I wanted to speak to him because I wasn't satisfied with how Mr. Clark was behaving, so I wanted to speak with him. And every time I go there, they told me he's not there. So that day when I went there, he was there. And while I was waiting for the letter of termination, I walked across. Because when I went, first thing I said, I want to talk to him. When I went there and I asked him what time he's coming, and they said, I don't know. And when I walked across to throw a bottle in the bin, I saw him through the window in his office.
Did you went back inside?
Yes, I went back inside and I said, that was when I said, I literally flick out the window because you know how people up and down and all over. I didn't threaten to talk any window. I just said I literally flick out the window because you know how people up and down all around the place with lies, and
While
more
he was
lies.
sitting in his
That's
office.
what I said. Yes. And then.
So did you let them know that you saw? Oh, he came out.
Yes. And he came out. And he said something and then he went back in. And after I got the letter, I just went away.
So, an attorney who is supposed to represent you, they call you in for a letter of termination. And upon receiving the letter of termination, you request to speak to the attorney who had not.
To the executive director.
Oh, to the executive director. So it's the executive director you saw in the window.
Through the window. Yes.
And this is the executive director at Jamaica for Justice.
The former one, not
the former.
There, no.
And what's the name of that previous executive director?
His name again, Roger Malcolm.
Mr. Malcolm.
Yes.
A member of the club. No, I would. Okay. And Mr. Roger Malcolm was the executive director for Jamaica for Justice.
Yes.
Mr. Malcolm, who parted with Patrick Bailey. Okay. And he was hidden inside the office, and the workers were telling you that he was not there. So when he finally came out, and based on what you're saying, you left, and on your way out, you were disposing a bottle in the garbage. And that's when you saw him through the window in his office. You went back inside to confront them, to let them know that they were lying because he's in the office. You also made statement that not threatening, but you spoke out in grief that upsettingly that you should hit the window out because they have you up and down, taking you for a fool and lying to you.
Yes.
So then the Mr. Malcolm, the former executive director of Jamaica for Justice, came down and spoke with you.
No, he didn't speak with me. He said something and then he went right back in.
You remember what he said and who said it to?
No, I didn't even hear what he said, but he said something when he came out. And then he went back in.
So he, with no sympathy, said nothing to you either. Okay, and I presume you left?
Yes, I left.
And what took place then? What took place after?
After I left, I went to another attorney. When I went to the other attorney, and they wrote Jamaican for Justice for my file, copies of whatever they needed, because he wanted to do a bill of costs, plus he wanted to
she have, as we heard, I believe, so we're calling her on WhatsApp, so you know we all know what that sound is reconnecting. Okay, you're still here. You were reconnecting just now. We didn't hear you for a while just now. The last thing we heard you said was after leaving and you go to another attorney. But just let me refresh. Just a sec. Let me just clarify something. It's the Mr. Malcolm who now have a huge office downtown shortly after your case, you're saying?
No, John Clark,
oh,
the attorney.
The attorney. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So now you were explaining that you went to another attorney. Continue.
Yes.
Continue.
And when the attorney wrote Mr. Clark for the file, that he stated in the letter that I could get at $20 per page, he told the attorney, I am not getting it because I took him to the legal counsel. And so for a while, I couldn't get my documents or the ones I needed. So that took about 2 years before I finally got them after the executive director, this new executive director came. That's when I got them.
So the new executive director gave you the documents you needed?
No, an attorney there gave it to me. I went and asked him if I could see her or make some arrangement to see her. And Miss Elizabeth Denny, one of the secretary there, told me that she would personally do that and call me. And until now, I haven't gotten a call.
And these documents that you needed, what was the reason for these documents?
For the bill of costs that should be paid, the judgment said within 14 days. Plus, I think that the judgment also have a penalty for the hospital to pay.
Did you get any payment?
No.
Okay, so you with your other attorney and you're battling with the system. Continue to explain to us what transpired.
We had a disagreement. I had a disagreement with the other attorney. I wasn't pleased about things was going, so I left and I went to the
what you wasn't pleased with. What is it that you weren't pleased with?
A lot of things that they were doing.
Such as, explain a few.
The time that it was taken.
Could you explain?
So
they were delaying. You feel like they were dragging their feet. The other attorney was also dragging their feet.
Yes.
What's the name of that attorney?
It was Nigel Jones and Company.
Nigel Jones.
Yeah, I wasn't pleased with the delay, so I left and went to the public defender. And the public defender Yes, they gave me a lawyer. Worse. Even worse.
Well, I can imagine it's a public defender. They are for the state.
Yes.
Well, you have some.
Let
me express. You have some very good public defender that will work, but they have a title of not doing much for clients. But I've come across few who do very good work. So you went to the public defender and you said he was. Take us up to the time.
He referred the matter to an attorney, and she has done nothing.
And take us up to the time of your first daughter, like the burial and so forth.
What about the burial?
Like what within that time frame, how long from the time your first daughter died before your second daughter took ill?
My second daughter took ill in April 2020.
When did you bury your first daughter?
29th of July 2018.
So 2 years after you,
Yeah, 2 years after.
2 years after your daughter took ill.
Yes.
What had transpired? What was her symptoms? What had transpired?
Just the rash on her face, and then sores started coming up in her mouth.
I noticed you have sent us some photograph with both your daughters, and I said, was she a nurse?
The first one,
The first
a nurse and a phlebotomist.
A nurse and a what?
A phlebotomist.
And explain what a phlebotomist is.
She drew blood. She used to work at the lab in Nathan.
Okay. Now, your second daughter, you said 2 years after you buried your first daughter. Your other daughter start showing symptoms with rash on her face?
Yes, rash on her face, and lymph nodes came up on her body. And
lymph nodes?
And then sores, lymph nodes.
Okay. And for those who don't know what that is, could you explain what that is, please?
Lymph nodes?
Yes.
Is what we would call wash and canal.
Okay, wax and canal. Okay.
Yes.
So you start seeing those symptoms and you took her to the doctor, or she went to the doctor?
She went to the doctor, and the doctor told her that it was allergy. That's something she's allergic to. She doing, but nobody would believe it was the braces or suspected that it was the braces. It was when it got worse now till the sores started to come up in her mouth. That's
all right.
When she went to Dr.
Wait. You mentioned just now that nobody would believe it was the braces. Why you mentioned that nobody would believe the braces? Who had told you that it was the braces?
I don't know if someone had told her. I don't know. I know she could not wear anything like silver chain or any of those like earring or stuff that you buy in town. I know she couldn't wear anything like that because it would rash up her skin.
Oh.
So, yes.
So she was allergic to jewelry.
Yeah. I don't. Nickel.
Nickel. Okay.
Yes.
So if it's not real, it would.
If it's not real, right.
Okay, understand. So she have.
She didn't know that it was not real. I don't know.
So you're saying it could be a possibility that the braces had nickel in it?
Yes. Wasn't confirmed, not sure, but I figured
just
that's what caused the allergy. So
okay.
Dr. Ford decided to treat her for the allergy.
So hold a sec, Miss Evans. You had lost your daughter 2 years prior. When this daughter took ill and went to visit the hospital, or mentioned that she was going to the hospital, did it scare you or her based on what had happened 2 years ago?
It scared everybody, the whole family, because these were people who I have encouraged. So everybody was scared.
So rush started coming up on her. You took her to the doctor. What doctor you took her to, or what doctor she went?
That's why she went to Dr. Ford. Or when she
because you trust Dr. Ford.
Yes. Sorry. I just know what. But she preferred to go to him. She trusted him. And when I had filled the prescription, the pharmacist was even questioning the prescription, but I don't know. I have no knowledge of medicine or anything, so.
The pharmacist was questioning the prescription that Dr. Ford prescribed?
Yes.
What pharmacy that was?
It was Discount Pharmacy in Constant Spring.
Do you remember the name of anyone that you spoke with there? That she spoke with? Would it be on any documents here that you have?
No. It was, the pharmacy. I went there, and when I went there, she was asking me what was the doctor treating her for. And I told her that the doctor said to call him if she had any problem with the prescription.
So what was the doctor treating her for?
Allergy, he said, and syphilis. And when she went to KPH, they did a syphilis test. That was the first time she went to KPH with the braces. She did a syphilis test, and they said she has no syphilis. Nothing. They couldn't find nothing when she did the test. That's why they ordered the autoimmune test.
And this is Dr. Ford who had This is Dr. Ford who had stated that she had syphilis and treating her for syphilis and the other.
Yes, and the allergy.
This is very strange because I remember Dr. Ford wanted me to do a syphilis test. I must look up what's about syphilis with the test and organs connection. And I found it very strange because, as I said, I was just working in the office. I don't know what these tests was about. I wasn't touching like working with patients or anything. But continue, Miss Evans.
And then when I went to when I gave her the medication.
Did the autoimmune?
Pardon me?
Did they did the autoimmune test?
Spanish Chang did the autoimmune test.
And there wasn't any syphilis?
No, but they tested her at KPH first for the syphilis. She didn't have any syphilis. Because the lymph nodes and stuff like that, the doctor said. Stuff like that. They tested her for everything, even HIV. And her blood test was okay. And I have those blood tests. Because the doctor said he's surprised because not even infection in her blood, yet she have the lymph nodes and he don't understand why.
So this was the lymph node prior to going to Dr. Ford?
Yes.
But she had the braces in.
Yes.
Okay. So you said she felt comfortable and you all trusted Dr. Ford because he had the government in court and he was up against the government and the medical facility. So take us through the moment she went to Dr. Ford.
After I filled the prescription Dr. Ford gave me, and I came home and I gave it to her. When I gave her the medication, the following day, and more rashes started to come up on her. And then after a few days, she started complaining of pain in her chest and stuff like that. So when I took her, I was on my way to a private doctor with her to do an ultrasound and etc. for the pain. Where she said she had the pain, she had a seizure. He told me that she had a seizure. So he immediately gave me a referral to KPH.
Do you remember the name of the medication?
No. I have them.
Okay.
I have a copy of the prescription, but I don't know the name of the medication.
Okay, I will ask you for that when we finish, so we can investigate what that medication is for. Continue.
And he did give her 2 from his dispensary. He said those 2 that he gave her is to protect the stomach when she took those that I'm going to fill in the morning.
This is Dr. Ford.
Yes. And then when my daughter, when I took her to KPH, she was assisted by Dr. Thomas in the accident and emergency, and he did ultrasound.
Well, let me ask you something. Hold a sec. Where Dr. Ford gave you these stuff?
At Tree.
Oh, by his tire shop?
Yes. He has an office there, a doctor office upstairs.
Okay, the bill upstairs. Okay. Continue.
And then, where was I?
You were talking about that he gave you.
Oh, Dr. Thomas. Yes. After he finished testing her, he sent her to Edwina ward, and I left her there that evening because they said I couldn't stay. So I had to leave the ward and went home. When I went back with nighties and etc., went back to the ward, they told me that she was moved from that ward to the isolated ward. When I asked them why, they said she had fever and cough. I said, no, she has no fever, no cough. She didn't come in here with a cough or a fever. She just come in here with a rash on her skin, and because by this time her back everywhere had the rash. And they have her in that isolating ward for days. I couldn't see her or hear anything from her. So I wrote a letter to the Ministry of Health. When I read the letter to the Ministry of Health, and I told them what was going on and what happened to my first daughter. And they said they would investigate the matter. When I went to the ministry the following morning to find out how I could get my daughter out of that place, I saw, what's her name, Mrs. Thompson talking to Natalie Whylie, that's the head doctor at KPH, the one who took my daughter from the Edwina ward to the isolated ward. And she was talking to her, and when I went down to public to see her, she and Dr. Evans told me that My daughter has lupus, and they have seen enough to start her an high doses of steroid and a lot more medication that they are giving her. And I disagreed with them because I told them that my daughter has no, and yet she was given, according to them, she was given all that medication. I don't believe they were giving her anything. I don't believe they were giving her anything. They have their agenda.
So this is your second daughter. 2 years prior, you lost one to lupus, and the medical evidence showed that she didn't have no lupus. Yet still, they are claiming the autopsy that it was lupus. Now you're hearing of another.
A provisional diagnosis. That means all the doctors come together and say, well, based on the symptoms that they saw, she has lupus.
Oh, so no
what happened at age, but
no physical.
When she went to Spanish Town, no critical confirmation. When she went to Spanish Town Hospital, they did three tests, and the 3 tests, none could confirm lupus.
So,
one of the tests was inconsistent with DIL, according to them, not SLE.
So now you have your second daughter, and she's in the hospital, yes, and you're hearing about lupus. What's going through your mind, Miss Evans?
I was traumatized because I know what they did first, and they're about to do it again.
Did you try to seek any assistance then because of what have happened prior?
Yes, I do. I wrote everybody I could work, including the Ministry of Health.
Did they get any response?
No. The Ministry of Health did nothing.
So your second.
They were going to investigate it, but they didn't do anything.
So your second daughter is in the hospital. They are telling you that this is another situation of lupus.
Yes.
Continue.
And I didn't bite. After I took her from KPH and took her to Spanish Town, and they did the test.
Thomas was talking to Natalie Whylie.
Pardon me?
You reached where you were saying Thomas was talking to Natalie Whylie. Dr. Whylie.
Mrs. Thompson, we're talking to Dr. Whylie.
Dr. Whylie,
on the
yes.
phone. Yes, on the phone. And they were laughing as if they knew each other face to face, as if they were friends.
You were standing in front of. You were standing in front of.
Right in front of Mrs. Thompson while she was talking to Natalie Whylie on the phone.
How you knew it was? How you knew it was Dr. Natalie Whylie on the other line?
According to what she was saying.
Okay.
According to what she was saying. And then it's like she asked me, I don't remember what she asked me. And then she said to Doctor, she said, the both of them started to laugh as if I am an idiot. And then she hung up and she asked her to send her the files. And when she sent her the files, she gave me a copy of the files that she sent her. That's how I know that it was a provisional diagnosis they have, not a confirmatory diagnosis. It told me, because when she went to Spanish Town, Dr. Ryan Brooks wrote to Dr. Trevor Bygrave at the University Hospital and said, "Dear colleague, please continue care of Cheyenne Taylor, a 19-year-old with systemic lupus erythematosus, diagnosed in February 2020 after I hear history of internet fever. And he did state that she was diagnosed at KPH. Back in mind.
Why?
At KPH.
Why you didn't get an independent autopsy on your first daughter?
Dr. Ford was the independent autopsy. And it wasn't on my side.
But even Dr. Ford did say it wasn't lupus.
Yes. He said it wasn't lupus. He couldn't agree with her.
So when
with her diagnosis, with hers, what Dr. Natasha Richards said, because he has most of the document that she didn't have. Most of the medical records that she didn't have, that used to didn't have, like the first lupus test that I sent you today. She didn't have that one. The second one, and it's only the two last ones she had.
So you're at the office with Thomas and
that the test was even sent overseas. The test was even sent overseas, and it was not lupus.
Interesting.
So she didn't have those evidence, but Dr. Ford has the test present. So he can't agree with her. So he has to say something, and instead of come up with the right cause of death, he said it's internal bleeding because the stent was not put in.
So now you're at the office with
So that was two different.
Yeah, I understand that. But now you're at the office with Thomas, and she's on the phone with Whylie, and she gave you a document. Thompson. And she gave you the documents. What happened after?
I left.
So your daughter is in the hospital in isolated. What's isolated?
When I got the documents, from Dr. Whylie, she was not in KPH at the time again. I moved her from KPH and took her to Spanish Town, and they took her to university. So now she was in university hospital because they said they have to remove the fluid from her heart. Nobody else can do it. So they took her there.
And continue to explain to us what happened.
And when she went to university and they drained the fluid from her heart, that was when her belly started getting big, her feet as if they were going to burst.
How old was this daughter?
19. Her body was so burnt, from her face to her feet was burnt. There were no parts of her body that you could touch.
Burned from what, Miss Evans?
I don't know. I don't know.
When you say burned, what?
One day when I went there to look back, they told me that I cannot go around the curtain. And the following morning, when I went back, I saw, like when, if it's sprinkle hot oil, and you saw those bubbles coming up. That's what I saw. Her face, her chest, her breast, every part of her bottom, under her leg, everywhere. Oh God, Jesus.
You hear the weep from a mother. This is not one but two of her belly pain. No one should have to go through what this lady, Miss Evans, has gone through. And
when I realized when I took her to Andrews, I took her out of University Hospital by a taxi. I take her to Andrews and just say that we have to send her back because she needs intensive care for those burns. And they don't have a unit there. Oh my God. Jesus. So eventually she was sent back to KPH. And the torture continues. She was locked away in an isolated ICU upstairs by herself, where I could not go, I could not see her. And a few days after, she was transferred to regular ICU, where I could not go in her cubicle. I have to stand at the doorway because of COVID. She eventually died. When she died, I went to the morgue to identify the body. I pulled off the sheet because when they are showing new bodies, they don't want to show you the old body. They just pull and you identify the face. So I pulled off the sheet and I told her father and the two girls who went with me to video the body and take pictures. And that's when I see the mark, the surgical mark where she get the cut across her belly, the one in her chest, and the four in her back, and a long one from her leg come up on her arm, and I think one across her cheek. Her neck ear.
And this is after the body came from the hospital.
Yes, the hospital morgue. This is the hospital morgue.
And you're there to identify the body.
Yes, to take it to my funeral home.
So there's no postmortem that's supposed to happen yet.
No, before I went to the hospital morgue for the body, I had an agreement with Jones for a postmortem. Because I told him that what they did to my first daughter, they also did with the second.
So you wanted Jones to do the postmortem?
Yes, the doctors that does postmortem there.
So
to do one on Earth.
You went to identify your daughter's body, and upon identify the body, you remove the full sheet from the body and you start taking photograph and videos, and you witness that there were multiple surgical scars on your daughter's body.
Yes, I have pictures and I have videos.
And this is before any postmortem has been performed.
No postmortem was done on her. Michael Jones embalmed her body the following day. So no postmortem was done on the body. And I have a written agreement with him for a postmortem. He drained the body of blood and fluid and took out all that was there according to him. So no postmortem could be done on science. So the funeral home destroyed all the evidence.
Wilford Rattigan, I don't know if you're here or you'll eventually come across this broadcast, but I'll be personally reaching out to you, and I'm asking others to reach out to Rattigan and let's see if we can launch an international investigation on this matter. Miss Nadine Evans has not lost one but two of her kids. Here she's weeping. And this is just because she managed to have the courage to come forward and let her voice be heard. How many other mothers weeping silently for similar situation? This is what we face in our island, Jamaica. With no care by those that we elect to serve. People, it's us the people who should be speaking and giving orders to the people, those who we elect to serve. They work for us. It's not the other way around. We don't listen to them. We are the people. But we are so separated and distracted, which are the reason why we can't stand in unity. In Michigan recently, just 2 days ago, the people overthrew the entire government. Take them out of office, excuse me, and change the lock on the mayor's door. Why? Because they were getting involved in the Chinese government and selling out the land in that area to the Chinese. And the people came together and said no in unity.
Yes.
If we come together as a people and said no more, but we have been sold, we allow them to distract us with so much, and we fight against each other. When is it going to stop? The ambassador from the United States to Jamaica and the ambassador from the UK to Jamaica both says it's up to us, the people, to bring back the island, Jamaica.
Yes.
So Shannon, you went and you identified Shannon. Cheyenne.
Yes. My baby.
You went and I don't know what's going on with the comments here. I'm not seeing them much. I don't know what's going on with Miss Palmer. But I hope everything is good with the moderator and the viewers. So you went and you identified Cheyenne's body.
Yes.
And before any postmortem was done or agreed on, you're taking notice because they wouldn't have expected you to pull the entire sheet off.
Yes.
But you did just that, and you have videos and photographs to prove what you're saying.
Yes.
So talk to us, explain to us what happened. When you saw the mark, did you shout out, you ask, inquire, inquire about it? Talk to us, what happened?
Yes. I asked. I went to the cleaner and I also went to the Ministry of Health, asked them how my daughter got those surgical marks. I went to the Ministry of Health asking them how she got those marks and who signs for them.
Did you find out who performed those surgery?
No, the ministry closed the case.
What hospital she died?
KPH.
And do you remember who was the doctor for her at KPH?
It was a lot of them. Dr. Astin, Dr. Nicole Suspense, Dr. Whylie was involved. Their names are in
on the documents.
I can't.
That's understandable. So did you ask there was a, when you went to identify her body, wasn't there someone in there with you? Apart from your family members? Huh?
No, they were only coming. And I asked him if somebody couldn't come with me. And he said, okay. But when I went, I saw that he was alone in there. So I called in the rest.
Who?
A gentleman in white. He was alone in the morgue.
Right, he didn't went into with you?
Yes, he went to show me the face for me to identify her, for them to come for her.
And when you...
When I looked in the morgue, it was him alone in there. So all of us went in.
Okay, that's expected. That's what I wanted to know. So upon removing the entire sheet and you saw the multiple surgical marks on your daughter, did you ask that gentleman any question?
No, I was crying and they were taking pictures. I couldn't do anything. I was weeping. I couldn't do anything. I was weak. I don't even remember if I was standing. And they took the pictures and video.
What's the name of this morgue that you went and identify your body?
It's the hospital morgue.
Oh, it's the morgue in KPH?
Yes.
Okay. I asked these questions because we're going to do a follow-up investigation. So we want to know the necessary people to call and do our inquiry.
And one of my sisters overseas, after I went to Jones, she got the number from the lab. She would have paid the money to the lab. And she asked me to ask the funeral director, that's Michael Jones, to call the lab and order the containers they will need to send the whatever up for testing, because it was COVID, so I couldn't get anybody to come to do the independent observation on Cheyenne. So we would order containers, the lab would send it, and they would fill it and send it back. But Michael Jones embalmed the body instead of doing that. and I have a written agreement with him for a postmortem. Why would he do that?
Well, we need to find out from Michael Jones why he did it.
And his parlor is no longer a little parlor, and the hospital don't have to store body for him anymore. His parlor is huge now with Range Rover and all.
So, after your daughters were killed, and the small parlor that he had is now extended with huge Range Rover luxurious office, and the attorney on your previous case is no longer with Jamaica for Justice, but have his own private office, huge luxurious office downtown.
Yes.
Well, Miss Evans, we have heard you. We have heard you cry. I have lost my mom, but I can't compare. I can't put it in any comparison to losing not one but two child to the hands of how it happened and took place. While these people who are supposed to be caring for us take advantage, manipulate the system, and earn millions from the organs from your kids. This is wrong. This needs an international investigation launch on it. And this is not something that we're just going to talk about today and leave out. We put it so it can be out and circulated. I know that this has happened for a period of time now and it's been happening. But Miss Evans, God bless her, that she has this courage to come forward and to shed light and give her insight on this corruption. The Ministry of Health, she have imagined she had lost one child and realized what's going on with the second and what's about to take place. Can you imagine and put yourself in her shoes, what she was going through then, crying out to each and every one, desperate for help, assistance. She wrote to the Ministry of Health, no response. Jamaica for Justice, what are you doing? And your Holness, this is what the corruption, the mass corruption, you sit and you lead. And these things happen rampant. And you know why people can come out and speak out now? Because it's going on too long and it's like y'all don't care anymore. And you manipulate and you drive fear into people. You don't want people to talk about you, call your name, make any mention towards you. Like, these things are dictatorship. It's wrong. And people, it must stop. It's time for us to hold these people that we elected to serve accountable. How we hire so they come to us for a job and we are paying them with our taxpayers' dollars. My God, when is it going to stop? How much are we going to accept? while our hospital is in deplorable condition. The Kingston Public Hospital, I can't even imagine how they could operate on anybody, animal or human being, to such sort in a hospital with the condition Kingston Public Hospital is in. Walk inside the bathroom that's in the hospital. Mold and morass and bacteria full the bathroom. Look at the condition of the walls. The hospitals are without bed linen. A patient is very lucky if they get a bed with a mattress on it. And our taxpayers' dollars was taken for a 300% increase for politicians. What about our 911 services? What about our hospital? What about our students in our school facilities? Why is it our student? Why is it parents are led to take tissue, give student tissues to take to school? Why is it the taxpayers' dollars are not being utilized for stuff like these? But you come to us every 4 years to elect you, beg for us to vote, and pay some of us to put you in a position to work for us, while you turn around and step in the citizen's neck. You kidnap, you have your doctors and your nurse kidnapping the kids. Harvesting the body, selling the organs to the highest bidder. Like, when is it gonna stop, people? Last week we spoke to you, Miss Evans, and you made mention to, was it Danielle Rowe?
Yes.
You witnessed her kidnapping amongst the 3 other persons?
No, I didn't witness her kidnapping. The picture, the person of interest, the picture that they put up for the person of interest. That woman is a medical doctor from UHWI. I was at a gas station. One fainted, and she
Wait, you
was
chip out
over her.
Hold a sec. You chipped out just now. You was at a gas station. Continue from the gas station.
Yes. When 4 schools.
Hold on. Something is going on with your, and we want to hear what you're saying. You was at a gas station. Miss Evans?
Yes.
I hear dog barking. Are you okay? Miss Evans? I believe she's reconnecting. Bad signal. We're having bad connection. Miss Evans?
Yes.
Okay, we're having bad connection. Now we're hearing you. I'm hearing the dogs barking. Are you okay?
Yes, I'm okay.
Okay. We last heard, we lost you just now. We last heard when you said you were at a gas station.
Yes.
Explain to us.
She was there. A schoolgirl fainted, and she was there over the schoolgirl.
She who?
And when I went to her, the person of interest that is on the photo.
Okay.
And I went and I asked what is going on there, and they said that the girl fainted. And I said, the clinic is right over there. It's right around there, and there are doctors everywhere here. I don't know, have her on the grounds. And she turned to me and said that she is a doctor. And I said, oh. And then I said, a doctor from where? And she told me that she's a doctor from Huey. And she called a taxi to take her to Huey. So I said, oh, a doctor from Huey. And same time, this poor girl got up. And when she got up, she hold on to the other one foot and she started crying. And I went down in her face and I said to her, young lady, you see, if you want those organs in your body, don't go away with that gal. An organ she'll look. Not go away with her.
And this was prior. This was prior to diet.
Most of the big video footage, the gas station have video all over every corner, and they are working. They are working. I sent the police for the footage there. I went to Lawrence Savon Police, Glengorf Police, Constant Spring Police, Tony Hill Police, and Halfway Tree Police. I wasn't going to Portmore because everywhere looked the same. So I wasn't going to Portmore. I don't know over there, and everywhere looked the same.
I understand that. Now, this was prior to Daniel Rowe kidnapping?
Yes. Yes.
So you...
Same person that was at the gas station calling taxi to take the people and pick me to UC. Is she same one they put up as person of interest for Daniel Rowe?
And did you contact any law enforcement? Did you when the person of interest photograph came out, did you contact any law enforcement officer and let them know that you have witnessed this woman taking kids before?
Yes, I did. That's what I said. I went to the police station.
And what was the response?
And I said, go get the video footage. Go get the video footage and see if I'm wrong. I contacted them. Yes, of course.
So I know now this woman is in custody.
I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure because the stepmother is in custody, not that woman.
So here we have a medical person going around kidnapping kids. And if that the child you spoke to.
And what is very strange as well, when I went to the medical council to drop off the documents of my second daughter, I went down in UC rather casualty there to get a taxi to go down to West Road because the medical council is no longer.
Prophetess Angela Laws Cumberpatch said, be strong, she feel your pain.
Yeah. When I went to University Hospital, rather casualty there to get a taxi to go to West Road, that's further down on campus. The taxi that I got while going on the way, and the taximan introduced himself to me, he was no other than Dr. Lee, an assistant surgeon at University Hospital. So I said, then why are you running taxi and you are a surgeon? He said he's putting the icing on the cake.
And this is Dr. Lee.
Yes.
No, Jamaicans.
He is an assistant surgeon at University Hospital and he's running a taxi on the compound. And that woman is calling a taxi to take the people and pick me to Huey. What for? The clinic is around there. The clinic is around the corner, and there are many doctor offices, even like a mini hospital in the square. And the child fainted. And what? Oh, you happen to be there to be calling taxi to take her to UC. Nobody know how she fainted. Maybe if them get the video footage, them will think it's on me to pick her.
Well, we have heard and I've seen the evidence of what has been happening, Miss Evans.
Yes.
We do appreciate you taking the time out to voice.
Anytime.
And we will continue to delve into this matter and investigate and keep you update. We all sit and we hear the cry of Miss Evans. People in and around the St. Andrew, Upper St. Andrew area, the university area, the garden, the Ellison Flat area, all that area that Augusttown. Parents, be careful, be vigilant. Doctors are going around as black heart men and women. Those of you who were born in the 70s, grew up in the 80s and 90s, and earlier are aware of the term black heart man. It's now 2023 and they have updated their status. They're out in brawling. Doctors, medical staffs, politicians are all in coups of harvesting organs and selling it to the highest bidder. This is what's going on in and around the island of Jamaica. And it's not just Jamaica. And I'm sure, because I've seen videos a few years back when they were finding multiple bodies with organs missing. What are we going to do as a people? How long we going to sit and keep our mouth shut? How long we going to allow fear to cripple us? How long we going to allow these people who we elect to serve to manipulate and drive fear in us? No more. No more.
I care of my children. I'm scared of them.
Our heart goes out to you, Miss Evans. We're going to leave it.
God spare them. I will not be silent. I will not be silent. Even in the wilderness, one voice was heard.
Prophetess Angia Laws Cumberbatch said this lady needs protection after exposing this. Father, cover her under your blood. Evil
God
system.
is my protection. God is my protection. The will of God must be done to the honor and glory of His name. Thank you, prophetess.
We're going to leave it here. And we appreciate each and every one of you. JJ, Junior Parker, Irvin Palmer, Prophetess, Ibania. I know there's a lot more, but these are the names I'm seeing from the subscribers list. I appreciate each and every one that's viewing. We thank you. We ask you to share this broadcast. We ask other bloggers to speak out on this. Get this out. It's time for us to help each other stand, rally around, unite, because unity is strength. Like, share, and subscribe, and please turn your notification on so you can know when we're on. This is OBC Radio. We give second chances for the forgotten voices. Remember, download our app in your Play Store or your App Store. Or if you have an Alexa device, you can ask Alexa to play OBC Radio. Visit us on the World Wide Web, www.obcradio.com, and stream us